everybody, how are you doing? So since my last vlog, things have been going on in the world, as they do, and people have been talking about stuff, as they do, and usually I get along just fine with that, but this week, for some reason, it seems like there was just a lot of things that, well, made me want to rage. Now, it takes a lot to get me angry, especially angry enough to make a video about it. Mostly because I have to hang on to that emotion long enough for me to write, film, edit, and post such a video. And usually I don't like to hang on to negative emotions that long. But this week, the things that made me want to rage quit humanity are important to me and actually important to a lot of people, so I figured it was important that I talk about them. But that's what this week's video is going to be about. 3 things that make me want to I need a drink. Number 1, so-called religious freedom bills that allow people to freely and legally discriminate. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the past, week and a half, 2 weeks or so, you probably know that the Indiana state governor has just signed off on a bill that basically functionally allows people to discriminate against LGBTQ plus people in a business situation. Most common examples are say a Christian baker or florist can deny service to a gay couple wanting to get a cake or flowers or whatever for their wedding. And I'm from Canada, okay? I'm all about having religious freedom and being able to believe what you want to believe, but this is not okay. And this already made me kind of sad and discouraged to begin with, but the thing that really got to me the most, that really made me just rage, was watching Indiana State Governor Pence try to defend this bill as being not about discriminating against LGBTQ plus people, or for that matter, anybody who deviates from the dominant religion, which in the United States is overwhelmingly Christianity. And let me just say that I am not inherently against Christianity. Most of my family are Christians. I have friends who have faith, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as long as you aren't using it to hurt other people. Anyway, basically in this video, he just dodges the question the whole time and never actually answers it. It is literally a simple yes or no question. Will this bill allow business owners to discriminate against LGBTQ plus whatever people? And the reality is as much as he tries to dodge the answer is that yes, it will allow people to discriminate against other people. Now, I don't think religious freedom bills necessarily have to be bad. In fact, there are some that actually do help allow people to have more religious freedom without allowing them to also hurt and discriminate against other people. However, this only works if there are protections built into the law that stop people from discriminating against anyone based on race, religion, sexual orientation, gender, whatever. And these protections are not present in the religious freedom bill that the Indiana state governor just signed off on. And quite frankly, the religious freedom bills that are designed to make it so that people can discriminate against LGBTQ plus people, they're very vague. And that's why people can get away with discrimination in the first place. And the fact that these laws are vague enough to allow for discrimination does not help with the problem that people, particularly in the United States, but in many places, do not understand the difference between exercising their religious freedoms and using their religion to oppress the rights of others. And it is incidents like this that are a clear demonstration of why church and state should be always kept separate. Basically, this represents a massive step backwards in the human rights movement, and it is a mistake that needs to be rectified. Rage! Number 2, the stigma surrounding pharmaceutical drugs that are used to treat chronic conditions. Now, this was brought up because of a Facebook post by John Green. I don't know what prompted this post to begin with, but I completely agree. Partly because this is an issue that affects me. I mean, the last issue I talked about is one that could technically also apply to me, because many asexual people, believe it or not, are discriminated against by religious people because sexuality is a gift from God, or something. I think my gift got lost in the mail. But I digress. Now, I have been on the drug duloxetine for 2-ish years, year and a half, 2-ish years. I don't know, I kind of lost track. Which is technically an antidepressant, but for me it's being used to treat chronic pain associated with arthritic or pre-arthritic conditions that are caused by childhood repeated traumatic injuries to my knees. That's a bit of a mouthful, so I just say I take it for arthritis. Basically, since my very young childhood, I have been gifted with magical dislocating kneecaps. It's not fun. I've been in and out of physiotherapy and chiropractic pretty much my whole life, and while I haven't had a problem probably in 5 or 6 odd years, knock on wood, I do still have a lot of residual pain from the injuries. In fact, it's raining out right now and I'm feeling it in my knees. But basically all you really need to know about it is that My legs regularly forget how to be legs. And it hurts, and I'm on medication for that. Also, I have many friends who struggle with anxiety or depression or all sorts of other chemical imbalances in the brain that cause them to need medication to help balance those things out. Basically, before I started on my current medications, I was in some level of pain pretty much all the time. It would especially get worse in high stress periods, like it usually gets worse sort of between midterms and final exams, and in my second year, I think it was, I would have nights where I couldn't sleep because I was in so much pain. And I would have days where I almost couldn't walk because I was in so much pain. And that has been less of an issue since I started taking my medication. My quality of life has improved significantly. And most people are very understanding of my limits and needs and are very understanding of why I take medication. And I am so grateful for that. But, and this is going to be the case for anybody who takes medication to manage a chronic condition, there are inevitably going to be some people who think they know better than me or my doctor. And I've gotten into fights with people about this. I've lost Facebook friends over stuff like this. But my argument nevertheless always remains the same. Unless you have lived in this body for an extended period of time, you are in no position to comment on what I do to take care of myself and this body that I happen to be living in. You can wax poetic about paleo diets and exercise regimens and herbal remedies all you want. Sure, those things might help to a degree, but you know what? It doesn't change the fact that when I am in so much pain, a lot of the times, I can't exercise because I can't put weight on my legs because they hurt. It kind of sucks out your motivation to do any form of physical activity. I'm just gonna be honest with you. And it's true that medications don't work for everybody. And if you had a bad experience with medication or if they didn't work for you, then I'm sorry to hear that. I am, because I know how frustrating it can be. But humans are not cookie cutter copies of one another, and we don't all function the same way. For example, the medication that worked for me did not work on my brother, who also has an arthritic condition, a different arthritic condition, but an arthritic condition that causes him chronic pain nonetheless. And we share half of the same set of DNA. The bottom line is, they work for me. And don't do it to other people either, because they're not gonna like it if you do that to them either. We don't like it. Stop it. Grrr! And the third thing that makes me want to rage quit humanity this week, the Cape Breton University president. To keep a long story short, my university's current president wants to cut a lot of the funding to programs and amenities that he views as being extraneous to the university's main concerns. Basically, this includes things like the art gallery, the Boardmore Theatre, the skating rink, and the Beaton Institute, because these things should be the concern of the community and not the school itself, even though they're based here. Now, first of all, as a Beaton Institute intern, hells no! You keep your goddamn grabby hands out of my program. A program that, just by the way, helps many liberal arts students like me get the experience they need to get jobs after they graduate from this university. Not to mention how important the Beaton Institute archive is to students, professors, and community members who want to come in and do research there. And this is just the Beaton Institute. I haven't even talked about the other programs that are liable to get cut if our university president can't get provincial government funding for them. Aside from wanting to cut programs that help provide experience and volunteer opportunities and job opportunities and all sorts of other beneficial things to the school community, wanting to delegate these tasks just to the local community shows a fundamental inability to understand that the university is part of the local community. This university and all universities play roles that encompass more than just students, teachers, and administrators. And trying to separate the university from the community as a whole is going to just cause more harm than good in the long run, especially for international students or out-of-province students like me, who are already farther removed from the local community when they first get here in the first place by virtue of being from somewhere else. Places like the Beaton Institute, the art gallery, the theater, the skating rink, etc. gives a chance for students who would otherwise be stuck mostly on campus, the chance to be able to interact with and integrate into the local community from their home base. As the president of the university, it is crucial for you to understand that campus life cannot be divided from the community life as a whole. They are one and the same. This isn't just a business for you to run, and to treat it as such is to do a major disservice to both the school and the community that depends on this school. This is supposed to be a center for higher learning, community interaction, and cultural exchange. Treat it with the respect it deserves. I think I'm done yelling into a camera now, but if you guys would like to continue to rage about these things with me, feel free to do so in the comments or on my Facebook page. Usually I am far more optimistic than this, and I believe that humanity is actually mostly good. It's great. Just, you know, not this week. It's been a long week. I'll see you guys next time.